Are you tired of losing money trading meme coins? You scroll through Twitter and you see these kids putting 6 figures from their phones while you're consistently losing money, getting stuck with your entries, rug pulled, and blowing up your accounts.
Yo, he's twerking over rugging. He just rugged everyone who's twerking. Yo, honestly, respect. Honestly.
The truth is, according to on-chain research, 99% of traders who trade meme coins lose money. But I'm here to show you how you can become the 1% who don't. I've made over $600,000 trading meme coins live on my channel. I've also made over $150,000 scalping meme coins.
Oh,
yes. And I've led CTOs of other projects that have ran to over $30 million in market cap, putting us at the 1% of meme coins to ever launch on actually one of the smallest chains ever. This is $5.1 million. But what's more important than that is I've showed people, over 30,000 people, how to actually trade meme coins. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint on how you can do the same. I'm going to show you how you can become a profitable trader by picking a specific archetype, strategy, and sticking to it, which is what something nobody speaks about. Everybody right now just trades exactly the same. I'm going to show you how to spot narratives, because narratives change. I'm going to show you how to find them early, and also a take profit strategy that's going to work for you. Because it's not about how much money you make in this game. It's about how much you're going to keep. So let's get started. We're entering a new era. I'm sure you've heard of the gold rush, right? Everybody says now it's the digital gold rush. Because originally, gold was one of the first huge bubbles and booms that we originally seen. When people would mine for gold, people would turn nothing into something. They would start businesses around gold. It became a huge, huge industry. Then we moved on to stocks. We've seen the stocks booms. We've seen even the website era, when people would make these stocks out of thin air, similar to meme coins now. They would make these things out of nothing, these stocks from zero, and they'll become multiple $100 million companies. Very similar to what we see with meme coins now as well. So this isn't new. But people hear about meme coins going crazy and people turn nothing into something and all of these terminologies that you probably hear, especially in the media nowadays. This isn't new, guys. This is just human nature, right? Whether you was doing it in the gold era, stocks booms, right? Bitcoin as well, okay? It's all the same. And I'm sure you've seen the memes. Oh, what was you doing while people were buying Bitcoin? When Bitcoin was in its early days, I was like 13, 14 years old. I was playing Call of Duty when Bitcoin was early on. I was playing GTA when Bitcoin was in its early days, while people were doing businesses around Bitcoin and investing and finding conviction in these things. And now people have pivoted to meme coins. Originally it started as a joke, but it's no longer a joke. It's not just technology. This is just how wealth is created out of thin air. Buying Bitcoin and waiting another 10 years is starting to become outdated. People also, they don't want to buy stocks because they see stocks as boring and they don't understand how to invest into it. And actually it's quite hard. I'm not too sure if you've tried to invest into stocks, but it's actually quite long, boring, and people actually don't want to do it. Especially when they have a small amounts of money. The masses are not really interested in buying stocks. They're just not passionate about it. Even penny stocks and stuff like this, people have pivoted away from it. If you've seen the Jordan Belfort videos and the Wall Street videos, those were like penny stocks. And that's kind of how meme coins have started to develop. People are creating wealth inside of crypto through meme coins. Like Crypto Boars, who says, I lost a lot of money when I first started trading. I blew my portfolio many times before I started seeing success. So I know exactly what you must be feeling. Don't ever quit and don't ever give up. I realized the importance of joining an alpha group, learning from some of the best traders and trenching with like-minded people. I started with very little funds and I was able to change my life thanks to Tyrell and the valuable alpha shared in the community. Below is 2 of my biggest trades with Buzz AI and Trump, which I found early inside of the community. I'm looking forward to more big wins ahead. This guy turned $1.4 thousand into over $14,000. That's basically a yearly salary for the average person after tax. We also have a huge gain, turning $16,000 into $37,000 in one single trade. These are 2 massive trades. And that's just one of the many examples that you can see of people making money every single day, making daily salaries and monthly salaries inside the trenches. Right? This is something which you are going to learn the blueprint to where you can literally be driving Ferraris around Malaysia and have the ability to do whatever you want. Actually imagine turning $59 into over $1,000 in one single trade, making a 2,000% return. Or what about the small wins, like making a quick $55 from $14 investments? And the big wins, which you see every single day of people making leverage trades and making tens of thousands of dollars every day inside of the trenches. So why listen to me? I've got over 82,000 subscribers. I've made 741 videos on a specific topic. I've documented my journey from the complete beginning, hustling inside of my bedroom, putting notes on my wall and setting the exact goals and process that I was going to go through. And even in the early days when I had no money, the one avenue that I knew I would make it was crypto, investing everything into crypto. This isn't a fad. This isn't something which I've chased and some hype. This is something which was a blueprint by design. I've made over $100,000 profiting from Memecoins, live streaming. I've got over $500,000 in profit from positions which I've showed live on YouTube. And I've educated over 30,000 people on specifically just the meme coin trenches. Now, this doesn't mean that you're guaranteed for success. Success actually depends on how much you're going to fail. You're not going to make it without failing. You're going to lose money. It's hard. It's not easy. And if you come in here to find some get rich quick moves where you can do one thing with $5 and magically become a multimillionaire, that's a lie. And the person's probably going to get you to download some software and just rinse your whole wallet. That's what happens to most people in this game. But I'm not going to show you this. I'm going to show you a complete blueprint by design, which is going to help you become successful. I'm going to show you how to do this without chasing pumps, without holding garbage, and without falling for crypto scams. Winners treat meme coin trading like a system, not a lottery. They have a proven system, a strategy which works for them, and they consistently use that to make money. Imagine you're at a casino and you're playing poker. You're not playing roulette and spinning a magic wheel to get rich. You're sat there on a table in front of other people who are all playing the exact same game as you. Similar to sitting at a desk and trading meme coins on Bullex, for example. You're playing a game where everybody's focused on the same exact thing. You're playing a game, but the difference is some people have a strategy and other people don't. You see, in poker, they already mastered this. They call it a basic strategy. They ran all of the cards and all the different scenarios through a computer, and they developed a strategy which will work for them. And if you follow this simple strategy, you can have success. But there are people who take that strategy, adapt it for themselves, find something that works for them, add their instinct, and stick to that. And if they stick to that for the long run, they've made millions of dollars. It's very similar to crypto right now. There's a few people who are sticking to a strategy, being disciplined and focused. Sometimes they deviate from that strategy, they lose money. But more often than not, when they stick to this strategy, which I'm about to show you, they make money, and they make a lot. And it seems like they are robots or they're cheating or they're doing something wrong. But actually, they're just sticking to what works for them. And that's what is making them money. While most people are treating this thing like a slot machine or roulette, and they're just coming to this machine every single day and spinning the wheel and hoping that they get wrecked. And they're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You see, the definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Before you enter a single trade, I want you to stop and think about what type of trader are you? Most people skip this. That's why they lose. They hop straight into the casino. They're playing a game where everybody else is playing a specific role. They consistently lose money and wonder why it's not working for them. There's 4 archetypes. Number 1 is the sniper. Now, you've probably heard of meme coins being sniped. And I'll get into that. What's the profile of this person? If this is for you, this is for people who are patient, they're calculated, and they have high conviction. So it doesn't matter if you make money, lose money from this thing, you're just going to stick with it, you're going to be patient, and and you're going to be calculated. Does that sound like you? Now, the pros of this is you have a very, very high win rate. Here's an example of a sniper. This is a wallet that's a sniper. Right? And as you can see, it's just up and to the right. And it turns small money into very, very big money. Now, the pros of this is, again, high win rate. It's less emotional stress and it's low screen time. You actually don't need to snipe a lot to make a lot of money. The cons of this is it's slow compounding. Okay, so you're not gonna be able to compound your money very fast. Okay, you have to be very, very calculated with what you do. It requires discipline and it's best for busy people. And it's also very good for small stack traders. Now, an example of this is Nassim, right? If you guys have heard the legend of Nassim, this is a man who sniped Trump and made over $100 million in one single trade. He has a team, probably an organization, and as you can see from the wallets, he had to split this across multiple transactions. So he's a very, very calculated and patient individual. In fact, he even made a post showing his thesis behind why he does what he does. He said, look, if you're just a trader, it's likely that most traders are not successful. You may as well just be a gambler. That's what he's saying, because his mindset and his focus is specifically on sniping, and that's what works for him. You don't see Nassim scalping trades. You don't see Nassim's wallets in and out of positions or even buying high conviction bags. He gets in, snipes projects, gets out. And sometimes they actually lose money. I'll give you an example with Candle TV. He actually got a lot of success. He made over $2 million sniping Candle TV from $400,000, which is a big, big bet and conviction he took, right? Remember, the pros: high win rate, less emotional, low screen time, but you have to be high conviction. He had high conviction in that, put a lot of money behind it. However, there was a lot of other people that nobody's speaking about who all lost all their money, okay, because they sniped it early and they got done by the anti-snipe system. So he had success, but a lot of other people failed, right? But those people in the long run may still have success if they stick to this archetype. Now, the next is the scalper. This is who everybody is on chain right now. For some reason, everybody just decided to become a scalper. And this is great. It's a good profile for some people because it's fast, it's high frequency, you're flipping coins, you're in and out of every different position, and it has a lot of pros to it, right? There's consistent opportunities, you're always ahead of the market because you're in the literal trenches. You're sharpening your skills and you're making daily gains. Think about it, right? If you're consistently scalping in and out positions, right? You're learning a lot about yourself, a lot about your emotions. You're learning a lot about the market because obviously you're in the literal trenches. So you're going to see whenever, Radium drop a new product and you're going to be in there. You're going to see when Trump launches a new meme coin. You're going to know everything which is happening. And Pump Fund itself is the biggest news platform everywhere. So you are literally tapped in to the max. However, there's a lot of cons in this. It's emotionally intense. Not everybody has the emotions ready for this. If you go on a downswing, like people have seen me on YouTube, if you look at my wallets, I can go on downswings a lot, right? But most people, they cannot handle these swings, right? It will give them a lot of burnout, and it's also a lot of risk because it's full time. You can see here, it says best for full-time traders and fast-paced thinkers. The best example of this is Cupsian West. Now, most people will say, Cupsian West, it's a robot, it's a bot. I don't really think so, okay? Maybe he uses specific tools to help him, but if you notice, there are thousands and thousands of similar people who trade in the same way. And if you watch and you're very good, you look at CSGO players, you look at Fortnite players, these guys are fast twitch with computers. Like people say, how can you be in and out of a position in a few seconds? Guys, have you ever seen professional Fortnite players on the PC? They are rapid, fast. And most of these guys are ex-gamers. So it doesn't matter about your trading. Trading to them is easy, right? Because they can move like this, doing all types of stuff. If that's you, if you're somebody which is fast, which is disciplined, which is focused, then that might be the best option for you. It's something to actually meditate on and think about. And next, we have the third archetype. This is the swinger, all right? Not those dodgy people in the clubs, right? Or the dodgy night outs that you go out on. This is actually swing trading, holding a position over days or weeks and playing specific narratives. And the pros of this You get large wins. You win big. What most people don't think about is meme coins is only for a limited amount of time. So this narrative won't last forever. Similar to altcoins. I even thought altcoins would last forever. Didn't last. I also feel like meme coins might not last forever. Memes will always be a thing, but meme coins as we know it might actually change. Meaning, this era won't last forever. So the good thing about the swing traders is even though they might go on, big downswings, right? I'll show you some examples of traders who go through big swings. When they hit big, and they hit 6 and 7 figure opportunities. And all they need is a few good trades to absolutely change their complete life. The pros of this: large wins, low maintenance. The cons is it requires a specific level of conviction. There is risk of late exits. So you're probably going to round trip a lot of bags. Okay. If you buy a coin and you say, okay, my thesis is, my thought process is, I think this coin can go to, 20 million, then you have to hold it to 20 million. That's what most people don't understand. That means you have to see your position. If you bought it at $1 million market cap and you put in, let's say $10,000, you have to watch that $10,000 go to 100,000, come back down to 30, go up to 50, and then go up to 200,000. You have to watch that whole process happen in front of your eyes. Meaning sometimes your wallet's going to go from 10,000 to 50,000 down to 10, maybe to 0. Right? That position, you're going to have to actually watch that develop. And this is best for narrative traders with capital. To be a swing trader, guys, you need capital. It's as simple as that. You need to have consistent cash flow coming into your account that you can follow. And this is not for people who don't have consistent cash flow. If you don't have it, it's not the best play for you. And an example of this is Powell. Many of you guys have seen on-chain who are in crypto and inside the trenches. You know a trader called Trader Powell. He started off with next to nothing, and now he's a multi-millionaire just by simply trading narratives and having some level of conviction in those narratives. And if they played out, he made a lot of money. But he's also lost a lot of money by these bags round tripping. And some people will go online and they'll ridicule him because they simply do not understand the strategy. The strategy is simple. Find narratives, stick to them, and have some level of conviction. Because when you get paid, you're going to get paid big. And the final archetype, not a lot of people speak about, is the shadow. Now, the shadow is interesting. This profile is somebody who learns silently before acting. Right? He sits, an observer, he watches. The pros of this is he gets a very strong foundation. He avoids making early mistakes by not taking huge amounts of risk. The cons of this is he will miss timing on projects. He will get analysis paralysis. And it's best for observers, researchers, and new traders. And many top traders started here. You see, I'll give you the best example. When I was live streaming, one thing I noticed was in the VC, which is our 24-hour VC, which we have inside the trenches. Find a link for that in the description, right? This VC had over 500 people in this 24/7, right? So I would wake up, go sleep, and inside of here, we see over like 500 people. I think now the market's down, so we have like 100 people in here 24/7, which is crazy. Like, here's an example of 500 people, and here's an example of 100 people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of real people just to be focused on one thing, on just trenching. Most people don't speak. You see, 99% of them aren't speaking, and some of them might not even be trading, and that's okay, because that's exactly how I started. I started off just watching the markets. I didn't have a lot of money to trade. I would watch YouTube videos, I would join communities, I would take part in them, I'd do research, I'd literally paper trade on the markets, simply to learn and understand the thought process behind other people that were making trades. I'd ask questions, and I'd be prepared, because I knew that my time was coming. I knew that one day I'd make money and I'd have to invest that. So it's better to learn before we get going, right? So that might actually be you. You right now, you might not have significant amounts of money, and that's okay. Know that the money that you get started off with, you're probably going to lose it, but you're going to learn from that process. What I want you to do is this: spin back through these 4 archetypes. I want you to think about them. Are you the sniper? Okay, are you ready to take those big risks, get in early and get the advantage on the market? You're in and out, patiently waiting, literally like a sniper. You might sit and watch trades all day, but not take one trade. When you make that one trade, you make it big with conviction. Next, you're the scalper. You're going to be in and out of positions, right? Sat there watching the Twitter tracker, waiting for those positions to come in. You're going to get in and out. You might not hold those big positions. You're definitely going to fade positions. In fact, one thing that a lot of people don't speak about, okay, and you see it a lot on Twitter, is people will be complaining that they didn't make as much as they want to be, or they sold too early. My bro, if you're a sniper, you're going to sell early. It's part of the game, right? Are you the swinger, right? The swing trader, right? Not those dodgy things in the club. The swing trader, the guy who's going to buy in early, stick to the narratives, create some type of thesis and hold. He might take big swings, might make big losses, but when he wins, he's going to win big. Or are you the shadow? Right? Are you patiently waiting for your time to shine? Are you observing these other traders? Are you asking them questions and learning for your time to take the stage? Because it will come. There's no wrong type. Each thing has its own strengths, its weaknesses, but you have to decide your role. Similar to an RPG game, similar to whether you're literally in the trenches at war, you have to decide your role. And this is what's going to help you. And inside of the trenches, we help you decide your specific role and take advantage of these opportunities. And this isn't gambling. The one thing meme coins are not is gambling. Most people that step in this game, yeah, they're gambling, they're taking risks, but they're going to be donating their money to you because this is a sniper style system to attack and take advantage of opportunities. If you understand the system, you're going to be able to take advantage of it. While everybody else is gambling, you're going to stay stacking. So I'm now going to show you an example of meme coins that have done 10 to 100x runs. I'm even going to show you some meme coins and some trades that I have made in my thought process behind these specific trades. Okay guys, so I hope you're enjoying the tutorial so far. Now I'm going to show you some of the coins which are popping off. Okay, I'm going to show you one of my mistakes that I made and why, some of the success that I made, and some of the coins which are popping off in this market. So if you're not in the meme coin market right now, it's going to help. If you're on the meme coin market and you're looking to catch some trades, it's really going to help you as well. So first things first, we have Gork. Gork is a meme coin which is based upon Grok. This is a parody account on Grok, and you can find the Twitter account by heading over to Deck Screener, and all you have to do is click search on Twitter. They don't have the Twitter connected, so you click search on Twitter over here. Okay, search Gork, click I understand, just a safety warning, and over here you will see the Gork account as number 1. Whenever you're doing due diligence, sometimes there isn't going to be the Twitter account connected. This is something which you see in the early stages of a meme. So at this stage, you'll find it a lot that the Twitter account might not be connected, but you'll see the meme coin going ballistic. And a lot of people won't be able to find the Twitter account and they'll just blind ape. But if you search the name instead of searching the contract address, which is the address of the token over here, if you just search the name, you will normally find it on the top actual account over here as well. Now what you'll find is that Gork is going ballistic right now. Yesterday I recorded a video, I think you'll see it later on in the tutorial. It was at 32,000, now it's at 76. So this account is actually growing a lot and it's growing very fast. So I think this token is actually going to continue. What you'll see is that because it's a parody account and it's based on Grok, it's been interacted by Elon Musk, and that's what resulted in this going absolutely parabolic. Now, later on in this video, I'm going to show you about narratives and how this narrative actually played out. But for now, I'll show you just simply the fact that these tokens are going crazy. So a lot of people are saying that meme coins are dead, the market's down, etc. No, that's a lie, because you can see tokens every single day are performing very, very well. In fact, one of the recent mistakes I made was Starbase, which went to over 3 million. And down here, I actually held about 1% supply. So I would have actually made $30,000 at all-time high with this token. But the reason why I didn't hold it, even though I had conviction, was because there was a little bit of PvP. Now, PvP simply means there is multiple tokens. If you go over here and you type in Starbase, you could see that there was multiple tokens. Now, the mistake I made was simply not buying all of them. What I should have done is, even though I secured a percent supply over here, I should have took the risk and bought a few, because even if a few of them went to zero, this one paid off. I would have made a net profit on all of them. So the best thing to do sometimes is just simply to buy all the tokens that you see. You don't have to buy every single one. You buy the one which is catching volume, which will probably be the oldest one, which is this one from 4 months ago. I think there was another one around a similar date as that, and this one as well. And then you can simply hold this one as it continues to go. Now, I wanted to show you the volume. So this is something which not a lot of people look at, and this is the volume on chain. Now, nobody actually looks at the volume on chain. For some reason, a lot of people trade crypto and they're involved in crypto, but they're not actually looking at on-chain volume. This is very important because it's going to allow you to see opportunities on different chains as they grow, but it's also going to allow you to notice when there's going to be 10 and 100 mil runners. You can actually know when there's going to be a lot of runners by using this. And this website is called DeFi Llama. If you go from DeFi Llama, you tag DEX volume. It's very important. You don't have to do anything else, just DEX volume and TVL. TVL means the total value locked on the chain. So you can see there's over $7 billion on the Solana chain at the moment. You can see the last cycle and you can see this cycle. This is a key indicator of why I do think that Solana goes a lot higher, because it's very interesting that we have a lot more utility, crazy more amounts of volume, yet the TVL is only just peaking. We haven't really gone into price discovery in terms of TVL yet, but you can see over here, we've been in discovery for volume for a long time. Now, what you can see is very interesting. First things first, if we do look at the volume and we look at just the volume alone, you can see something that we have a very huge spike, like the Burj Khalifa peaking over here. Actually looks just like the Burj Khalifa with a huge peak here. And you can see at the top, this was the Trump saga. So this was a stage where most people were interested in meme coins. You can even see it on Google Trends, where most people were actually searching meme coins during the Trump saga as well. You can see it right here. What happens is most people came into crypto during this stage and then they have left by now and they have called it quits. But what they haven't taken the time to look at is the DX volume, the DEX volume for new people. Now, DEX means decentralized exchange. So this is the volume which isn't on, Coinbase, Binance, Mexi, etc. This is the volume which is just on chain, like your Bullex, for example, Nova, etc. Like whatever exchange you use, these are all the volume on that chain. And as you can see over here, in October, we was at 1.5 billion, right? November, we peaked 0.6 and we went as high as 6 billion as we started to move into December. And then we peaked out at 27 billion. So this was a ridiculous, crazy run. Then when people said over here, and I can show you guys, people were saying meme coins are dead, pump funds dying, Solana is finished, we're going to zero. There was a lot of statements about that over here. DEX volume was down at 1 billion. Now, I said this for a long time. I said that this isn't true. We are probably going to come back. It's just simply a washout. The washout that a lot of people were looking for has already happened because, DEX volume went as low and less than 1 billion, which we haven't seen since pre-October time, which is huge, right? Now, what we have seen is that volume double. It went from less than 1 billion, 900 million, double to about 2.7 billion. And now every single day we are above 2 to 3 billion. And as you can see, once we get into this 2 to 3 billion range, we're starting to approach December levels, which will be 5 and 6 billion, which means we're probably going to get another catalyst up here. I doubt we'll go 30 billion, but I think we can easily see 12 billion and above. That's when you will start to see these meme coins, which are already at 40 million and above, push 100 millions and above very, very, very fast. So this can show you guys that it's more than worth your time to commit to the trenches. It's more than worth your time to put a lot of effort into educational resources like this, and also taking it practical and hopping inside of the trenches, as you can see like this. Now you can find a link for the trenches in the description. It's a full-time community to help you trade. We have a VC live 24/7 and people are literally making calls and showing meme coins that they're buying in and out 24/7. Now let's continue with the tutorial. Next, I'm going to start to show you about narratives. I'm going to start to go into more depth about these trades and show you more about that in the future. But this has showed you that meme coins are going to pop in a trend again. It's also high in terms of volume, which nobody's talking about. Everybody still thinks we're down here, but on-chain doesn't lie. Okay, and we can also see that new narratives are starting to develop. And those meme coins are starting to push past the tens of billions, which shows you that you can make a lot of money. In fact, if you look at the top traders of Gork over here, We can see those traders have turned $4,000 into over $300,000, $63 into $200,000, $45K into $200,000, $3K into $190,000. That's life-changing money. Now, that's one of the many things that we show you inside of the trenches. I make regular videos on thought processes, on frameworks, on a specific thesis that might actually help you take advantage of the markets. In fact, most recently, I did my whole entire thought process and thesis on Candle. I've invested a lot of money in this specific project. My bags are actually down a little bit. Actually, they're always at break even. It's not too bad. I got good entry, right? But most people are not in this. Right? Candle TV, at the time of recording this, has about 1,500 holders. Yeah, I have 30,000 in my community, 87,000 views, 87,000 subscribers, right? 30,000 inside the trenches. There's a lot of people who have listened to what I've said and not took action in it, and that's okay. But it goes to show you that only a small amount of people are ever going to take action in these things, and they only wait for the green candles and the confirmation to get in. And it's simply a 3-step process. Frameworks, community of other people you can ask questions to, and a simple mechanism to take your unfair advantage. I'm going to show you how to do proper due diligence, right? Most people call this DD. Due diligence is something which is thrown around a lot. A lot of people say, oh, do your own due diligence. But what does it really mean? Well, in Memecoins, you need to know token contract addresses, understanding about when liquidity is locked, when it's not locked, the flow of liquidity, because you need to understand the flow of money. Liquidity just means money. And the third thing is Twitter and Telegram checks. You need to understand, is this the type of Twitter I should be following? Has it been reused before? Basic things that you need to know. If you're a little bit more advanced, you maybe can skip this part a little bit faster. If you're somebody brand new, I recommend you take the time to go through this step by step. So I'm going to show you this now. Here is a way that you can do quick due diligence on the chart. What you're going to do is you're going to open up a chart inside of whatever trading platform you want to use. I like to use Bullox. You can find a link for that in the description. Now, once we open it up, I'm going to have my order book on the right hand side. The way of doing that is by going to the top right. You see these little arrows over here, and you click those arrows. This is going to open up the order book. Now, as you can see, it's very, very busy. You've seen a lot of buyers and sells. I could choose to change the filters over here if I wanted to, for market cap, price. I can even, pick specific wallets. The reason why I chose this chart, first, you can have a quick audit on the right-hand side. And you can see over here, even though it gives a slight warning for top holders, there are loads of projects that pump for that. But I can tell you right now, this coin over here is going to rook, right? Not just because of the chart, but for some other specific reasons as well, because not all the time are you going to have a chart look like this. Even on the right hand side, your number one due diligence should be to check, is it mintable? Is it mutable? This just means that can these tokens be reproduced, right? There's 1 billion in supply, but can the developer make more of these tokens? Next, is it freezable? Is your money just magically going to get frozen in your wallet? No. Okay, you can see update authority. Owner balance is 0. The LP is burnt. So with pump fund, as soon as the token pumps up, they burn the LP. Okay, which means they can't just pull all the money away. That's a real rug pull. Real rug pull would be if they could just pull all the money out. As you can see here, even though it says like 7 out of 8 for caution, it's okay. There's 2 big warnings here. Insider holding and top 10 holdings. With them both being more than 50%, that's 1 warning sign. The next major warning sign I want you to look at over here, repetition of the same wallets purchasing the same amount of tokens. So you can see over here that every time there's a big buy and sell, it's the same amount. And even the small buys and sells are exactly the same amount. 90s, 80s, 75s, 100s, and then you see the exact same thing in repetition. 75, 100, and back down again. 80, and back down again, back down again. What these guys are doing is artificially pumping up the price, right, to make this token move. And then what you'll see is it will just keep going on forever until they capture some amount of money. And then as you can see here, once somebody buys unsuspectively, instantly it will sell into that amount, right? And they will keep on marching this up until they have enough money filled out, and then they will insta sell on that. Now, a lot of times you will feel the need to FOMO, or sometimes you say, all right, I'm bored, I'll play these charts. Never play them, there's no point. But the best thing to do is to go back on your chart, click mute, right? And just hide the chart and leave it as that. There's always tons of these charts that you'll find, and they always have a similar looking pattern, okay? And you will see it over here, the key warning signs and the repeat buys. And sometimes you just see the chart start like this and then magically start, you know, moving in motion. And if you start to see that those repeat buys and sells are the same amount, you know that's a warning sign. There's tons of videos on YouTube about how to rug tutorials because people are struggling in the markets. You don't want to go to that side. What you want to do is follow these things that I've taught you. There's key indicators for spotting rug pulls so you don't catch, so you don't get caught in the rugs. Now, for those of you guys with a little bit more experience, I'm going to give you an option that you might not know, is that you can use this website called Go Plus. Now you see over here, gopluslabs.io. That's gopluslabs.io. And what it's going to allow you to do is check the security on each chain. Now I can tell you, anytime you're going to have opportunities to jump onto a different chain, there's going to be a new method for rugging. And all of the time, when it's high volume on those chains, 95% of the time, you're just going to be blind aping into contracts, right? And that's fine. But what you want to do is you want to use this website to quickly scan the CA, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just throwing a CA in here from the old version of a 4 meme. So you can see it comes with 444. And then quickly, I'm going to check this CA. And when I click check, instantly, it's going to open up this. It's going to give me a one-pager for everything to do with this token. It's going to show me the top 10 holders, right? It's also going to show me about the contract as well. And it's going to show me the honeypot risk assessment over here as well. You can see it is basically 100% safe to go for this. And it will give me the social media links for it as well. Now we can do this with any chain, pretty much any chain, even abstract as well for all your abstract heads. It's going to save you a lot of money when it comes to, exploring new chains and new opportunities. Another thing to be careful of as well is multi-wallets. Now, multi-wallets are starting to become a big thing for new tokens. So what you need to be aware of, anytime you venture into a new token, remember we spoke about the order book earlier, right? We spoke about the order book and the top 10 holders and spotting tokens like this, right? It's very clear that these types of tokens are highly prone to rugs and are definitely going to rug. However, what you see on Twitter tracker plays or on big hype plays that we see are multi-wallets. Now, multi-wallets is not necessarily a bad thing. There's projects like these, which you can see, which is a trending project right now, which is okay. It's safe to trade. It could go up or down, wherever it may go. However, the order book is very clean. But what you'll see is, whenever you see large sells like this, all a similar amount, one sold, one sold, one sold, this is most likely a multi-wallet, right? It's most likely multi-wallets basically action, right? It's all the exact same amount. So if I click, let's say 10 sold, for example, and I'm using multi-wallet, here you see all wallets will buy a similar amount over here, and that will print an instant green candle. What you see is after you use a multi-wallet buys, it makes it green and it can FOMO people into the chart, right? And as you click sell, you see over here, I think I actually made profit on this, right? Now, what you see is people will use that on early charts, especially with a lot of FOMO, because people are not looking at the order book. Most people trade like this and their order book is lower, which makes them susceptible for FOMO whenever there's a few green candles. Like you might be trading a coin. Let's say we I know some of my filters here will find an actual chart. This one should be okay. So yeah, this is pretty much an all right chart, right? So we have an all right chart over here. And then what you'll see is if I go over here, 3.5 sold, I print an instant green candle, right? Now, this token isn't being watched by nobody, right? It's just a random chart. So it's probably going to get sold off into. But if this was a hyped coin, if this is something where a lot of people are trying to get into, and you print one of these green candles from a multi-wallet, what happens is you see loads and loads of people buy because they think it's breaking out, and then their orders get trapped. Now, if this happens to you a lot and you start seeing the chart run like this, okay, it's likely you're on charts that are getting multi-walleted, right? You come in, they print a green candle over here, and then you see a massive, massive sell. This is just one person. And all of this happens simply, you could have avoided this, by simply looking at the order book. Whenever you're seeing multiple orders coming from the side like this, right, you know to get the hell out of this token, because you have one person who owns multiple wallets with too much supply. They can earn 20 Solana, 40 Solana at a tiny, tiny market cap and a majority supply of the token, which starts to become a major, major problem for the newer traders, newer scalpers out there. So yeah, that should explain to you the art of due diligence, how to spot rug pulls, how to avoid certain tokens. I hope you found value in this section. Let's continue with the tutorial. Now you have to remember that meme coin markets, they move on cycles. Everything moves on cycles. I don't want to get too wishy-woo-ha spiritual about this stuff. Right? It's getting bright outside right now, but even outside moves on cycles, life cycles, everything moves in cycles, market cycles. Memes are no different. Memes move on hype cycles and they're very fast, right? So you have to remember what I've showed you, right? You have to remember the cycle and the process of these coins and make sure that you take advantage of it. Remember the 4 archetypes. When we go back to the phase 1 of what I've been showing you in this tutorial. These archetypes are not something which you should just go in one ear out the other. If you know that and you've picked your specific stage, you have to remember that you actually play a key role in the stage of a meme coin cycle. If you're the sniper, well, most big meme coins, they get sniped. You've played your part, and if you play it well, you make money. Okay, then we get into volume. If there's high volume in a token, that's where the scalpers make the most amount of money. I haven't even got into providing liquidity yet, but you can even make money in that role as well. Okay, and if you're the shadow and if you're observing, you play a key part because you might just be part of the community of the project. You might not even have invested, but you still play a key role in that life cycle of a meme coin. We're going to get into some more advanced stuff. And this is great for beginners. It's also great for some of you guys who are already inside the trenches. Maybe you've watched my content for a while and you've traded this for a while. I'm going to show you about narratives. I'm also going to show you about when to rotate into Bitcoin and some tools you can use as well. So what I want you to do is I really want you to take notes on this stage. I really want you to understand and get value from this video so you know when to swap your money. I've made posts about this in Telegram before. I've showed you guys when I'm diversifying. I've showed you guys when I'm going back into stable coins. And it's single-handedly the most important part of this entire process. You see, most people will make money. They'll have huge egos. They'll actually probably be very good at what they do. But I can tell you from first-hand experience that when the market goes down, everything goes to zero. There's not even enough money, liquidity in these positions for you to even sell large positions and get out with a profit. The best thing that you can do is understand when to diversify, when to get out, when to get in, right? And when to completely leave the market. So I'm going to show you that right now. This is actually super important because at this point, this exact point is where you should be looking to take profit on your entire portfolio. Remember, when search volume is at the top, that's when the hype is the most, because 99% of people don't get started in anything until they have absolute conviction. Remember, most people didn't invest into crypto and the markets until Trump was 100% inaugurated. Once he got inaugurated, the market collapsed. Who made the most money? The people who took the risk before. Who became the exit liquidity? Those who invested when the hype's high. What happened during the meme coin saga? Who made the most money? The people who invested while it's low, i.e. us, and then who lost the most amount of money? The people who only just came into the market at its absolute peak. So if you can notice this, if you are using Google Trends during that stage, you're gonna make a lot of money and you're gonna take profit at a time when the hype's at its peak. People are gonna be ridiculing you, they're gonna be hating on you, but you're gonna make money. Narratives lead everything to do with crypto. This is probably the most important part of this entire video. Now, I'm going to use Gork as the first example because this is the current narrative which is running. And as you can see, there's different stages to a narrative. And it's pretty much symmetrical. Like if you was to copy this and you could put this pretty much here, right? The reason for this is because of two things. Number one, the first thing that you need to look at is what is called the lead runner, what people call like the runner of the day. Now, this is the coin which just comes out of the gate and in the space of the first hour, blasts off. Your market caps you can hit in the first hour, which I've seen, is things like 10 mil. You can also hit about 2 mil as well. Okay, and obviously this one in this case, it hit 20 mil. This is a great run for a meme, and this should let off all of your warning signs in the group chat. If you're in a group chat, this should be the coin which you should look at. Don't go and jump onto new creations and start buying all of the beta plays. Never do it. Never jump on here and start going, okay, well, Gork's running, so I missed out on that. It's too high. I'm now going to go and buy all the second Gork plays. In fact, you can see this happening right now. So we have withdraw entire day basics. I don't even know what this is, but you can see because this has hit 130, now there is a ton of beta plays playing. So this is a possible narrative of it. And you can see it's only just came out 21 minutes ago. So you want to see how high it gets in the first hour. If this passes 1 million, it's probably going to be a good potential narrative as it grows. This is the play. These are not necessarily the plays. Depending on your archetype, if you're a scalper, it might be good to scalp the volume because you know people are going to be getting in them. So you can get in these early and wait for people who see this run to 500k and come and pump your bags and then get out quickly, okay? But this is probably going to be the most profitable one if it turns out to be a potential narrative. So you want to see how it grows in that first wave, okay? Now we can see here, the first wave, it tops out around 20 million and the bottom is around 10. You can always bid, if you miss the runner, you can always bid it on its 50% correction. So you can literally just wait, have the chart open in a new tab while you're in the trenches, and you can wait for it to have its first 50% correction, which is possibly a good time to bid. Remember, you want to buy when other people are buying. You can see it in the order book. If you go to this area here, you can see it's high volume during this stage of the dip. You can see over here, in fact, is high volume. Over here, the volume was going really low. We have one volume spike here, and we also have another volume spike here before we have it going absolutely crazy. So you can see it here. Now, I can tell you for a fact, I'm a part of a lot of DLMs. It's a bit complicated for this tutorial, but basically market making groups of people who use things like Meteora, and they use these platforms, and Meteora is getting crazy amounts of volume right now. And these guys, they use indicators. I know a lot of people don't use indicators. These guys use MACD, they use RSI, they use indicators on these larger market caps, and they will literally wait until we see a curl in the MACD and they'll enter here and provide liquidity. Now, trenches don't really use this, but it's important for you to keep an eye on this because if you see a lot of big buyers coming in, okay, this is a good time for you to start positioning in what could potentially be the main runner. It's not going to be 100% right. With runners, you're probably going to be right about 30% of the time. So that means 70% of the time you're going to lose money, but it's okay because on the 30% of the time that you're right, if you're making a 5 or a 10x on that gain, you pretty much net profiting on these potential narrative plays. So narratives are the best style of plays for those of you guys who are looking to make big money, and you don't have to be in the trenches 24/7. You can literally wait and wait for the potential narrative. This is good for scalpers because you can trade the volume on new pairs. You know that if it isn't related to Gork, it's probably not going to bond. It's probably not going to run to 1 or 2 mil. All the beta plays for this did pretty well, but if you was late to the narrative, you would have got absolutely cooked. Me, I woke up, I started just top blasting everything, and I got absolutely cooked trying to chase this narrative. Why? Because I wasn't in it early. This was 4 a.m. my time. So you want to be in it early, prepared, and you want to come into this with a level head, wait for that 50% dip, bid the main runner, and then you want to look to catch all the beta plays early because as the main runner breaks out past its all-time high with volume, this is what you want to see, it's probably going to continue. Whenever you see an all-time high breakout with high volume, it's going to continue. So a lot of people say, oh, don't top blast. But top blasting in this scenario would have been highly profitable because you had a thesis around the reason to actually go ahead and do so. Okay. So that explains this. But why did it actually do well? So in terms of price action, you know, in hindsight, that I did very well. Well, why did it have this push? And why did it have a second push over here? The reason for this is because this is a narrative which has repeated itself many times in crypto. And the most recent one in Memecoins was this XBT narrative. Now, AIXBT is a team of like developers who develop meme coins based on social trends using AI or this automated posting agent, which has been around on Twitter for a long time. I think this has been around since past like 3-4 years. It's been around for a while, automated agents, but now in crypto, it's been going absolutely crazy. And this was the first example of a successful play on this potential narrative. And you can see they gained over 459,000 subscribers because it's basically an automated marketing machine. It engages with people. So if we were to put this as one potential narrative, we would say that this narrative is a socialfy or a agent, automated agent. So we have a list of narratives. I know my spelling is absolutely terrible right now. We see one is automated agent. 2 is trend, social trend. I'll show you these in a second. 3 would be viral news. And 4 would be a movement. And I'll show you all of these now. I think there's a few more as well for potential narratives. I'd say, obviously you have your Elon tweets and stuff like that. Elon tweet. It's just the whole narrative in and of itself. But they never last long. The Elon tweets kind of burn out. They're more for your scalpers, your trenches, right? So automated agents. These ones are great because they're marketing machines and they can often pick up engagement from large social media people. And sometimes they don't even know that it has a token. So the best ones are ones where it has a meme coin token, but they don't know on Twitter and they just engage with it and it absolutely blows us up. In this case, you can see that it was Elon Musk. So if we search the profile over here, we can see that the profile post automatically, it's already grew massive. Like yesterday I seen this, it was like 35, now it's like 77. So going 35,000 subscribers in literally a day. And you can see it's been engaged with Elon Musk and racked up 1.7 million views, and every single trench has seen this pick up. And what happens is when you get these engagements, you get huge spikes in volatility. Now, what makes people buy meme coins is the hope of something happening in the future. So remember, the only reason why you would buy these levels when something's at 10 million, or even at these levels when something's at 50 million, is the hopes of something potentially happening in the future. In crypto, we call this a catalyst. So you need a potential future catalyst, which needs to be bigger than where it is now. It was big in the BNB days because people would wait for a CZ tweet. So you would buy here, and you'd be like, right, CZ is going to interact with it. If CZ interacts with it, there's a huge volume spike. And you'd be like, okay, what's next? And it will all come down. And you'd be like, okay, potential Binance listing. And you get the hype of a Binance listing. And then Binance will list it. And you get another huge, huge push. That's what drives meme coins. And that's why you can hold these tokens. You can hold a token if you think that is a potential catalyst. Remember, you make the most amount of money when looking at a narrative, when you can see the future. What did people do when they bought Bitcoin in the early days? What did they say? They said Bitcoin will be a world reserve asset. It will be used by people. It's a new world currency. Politicians will make these things. Guys, if you told me a while ago that Donald Trump would be making his own meme coin, I would have laughed at you. If you told me Donald Trump will make meme coins, if you said to me, oh, Tyrell, it's a possible world reserve asset, gold's going to go absolutely crazy, and people will really start to look at these things. Like it's going to be something which is spoke about worldwide. You would have had to put me in an insane asylum because I would have said, no way, Jose. Look at how many multi-billionaires said that that's impossible. It's never going to happen. But the small amount of people who looked into the future and said, yeah, you know what? You probably got something going on here. I'm not going to full put it, I put my whole life savings behind it, but I think it's can possibly be done in the future, and they put a little bit of money behind it. Well, you've seen how that played out with the Bitcoin chart. Up and to the right, best performing asset in the past 10 years, right? Outperforming real estate, outperforming stocks, outperforming the S&P, outperforming gold. Bitcoin versus other currencies has gone absolutely crazy, and I think it's worth more than some countries' GDP. It's gone crazy. You can do this in a smaller way with meme coins. Instead of having to think about it being a world reserve asset, you can literally say, well, I think Elon might tweet about it. And what happens is, well, I think Elon might actually interact with this in the future because it's related to Grok. And you can see it goes absolutely crazy. And it went from 20 million to 78 million in 2 candles in the space. Each candle is 5 minutes, and that's about 5 candles. So in about 25 minutes, it 5x, almost 5x in price, went absolutely crazy. And then what happens is the chart slowly goes down. And then if we have another catalyst, you will see it go on another leg up. Another great example of Elon interacting with things is RFC. You can see RFC, everybody's forgot about it now, which makes it a great short. Inside the trench, inside of our community, we short a lot of meme coins because what happens is when people forget about it, it goes down, and you'll see on Mexi, you can actually short these coins. You can't short with a lot of money, but if you're somebody who just wants to make a few $500 or a few $1,000s, shorting these things is very profitable when they break these key levels of support. When they break this key level on the high, they never really come back to it. You'll be able to see that on the Gork chart as well. Just to explain RFC, RFC is a similar thing. Elon interacted with the page and it went crazy, but you can see it here that you could actually potentially look to short this coin. You would want to look for it probably about here. When we reject here is a good entry for a short. You probably see it run all the way down to 0 if Elon doesn't interact with it again. Everybody will just move on to a new coin. Now, that's one narrative, automated agents. What about another one? Social trends. Now, another great example of a social trend would be, you can have Ice Bucket Challenge for a current one. Now, Ice Bucket Challenge is a social trend which is re-emerging. This is Ice Buckets coming back to it. I don't potentially hold this token, but I understand the narrative and it actually makes sense. So you have potential catalysts that could happen with more people taking part in the Ice Bucket Challenge as it continues to be a trend. Remember, the last Ice Bucket Challenge, there was no TikTok in its prime. Now TikTok's in its prime. So what you will see is every time a celebrity does an Ice Bucket Challenge, you will see the chart go absolutely ballistic. So you can bid the floor, you can buy it low, and every time they do an Ice Bucket Challenge for charity, you will see the chart go absolutely ballistic. And you could just sell into that volume. Where most people will wait for it to happen and then buy it, you preemptively buy it, and that's where you make the money. You can see multiple occasions, these types of catalysts will probably happen, and the more viral it goes, the higher it goes until the trend and the momentum dies out again. That's just the life cycle of a meme coin, okay? Now, with your social trends, it all depends on how big the social trend is. So you want to judge it. And the way you judge it is the same way that I judge meme coins in general, and that's with Google Trends. So you'll see over here, if you type in Ice Bucket Challenge, that it had a huge spike back in the day, and then it's died out, and it had a little spike now. So compared to where it was at its peak, is nowhere near where it is now. So you can judge that challenge based on the meme, and you can say, if I buy this here, and it goes anywhere near here, then you know that the coin is probably going to do absolute crazy numbers. Another one is a viral trend, which was morning routine. This one was also went crazy as well. And you can see morning routine just went up and to the right. It went absolutely crazy. It was a viral meme. You can see if you go over here and type in morning routine, it's up and to the right again. And it had a crazy one. I think it went to over like 20 million as all-time high. Yeah, peaked out almost around 20 million. And this was in the worst stage of the market. Like if this was now, this will go to 50 or 100 million. But you can see here, because it was in the worst stage of the market in this March range, it still did crazy numbers. But you're seeing Routine, and also there's another one called Ghibli. They both did amazing numbers, great to short, and also great to catch spot positions where you can make 10, 20, 30 X's. You can see in the traders section over here, someone turned 2K to, this is only in the past 30 days. It's older than 30 days. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it, but people made a lot of money, right? People made hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can probably see it better in the Gork thing over here. I know I've already discussed this, but you can see, 20,000 to 200,000, 3,000 to 119,000. Over here, 15,000 to 170K. There'll be a lot of excuses for this stuff, but I guarantee you guys, there's some normal person that brought this and just made great money because they're following this same thesis of narratives. And narratives being the most profitable thing in meme coin trading right now. Hands down, the most profitable way of trading is trading narratives because they have tons of catalysts in the future. And that's what really drives volume, is speculation of what can happen in the future. So your automated agents, great option. Your social trends, being something you can find on Google Trends, are things you can judge based on Twitter and also based on these things. Don't rely on people to tell you these narratives. A lot of people, what they do is they'll search the token and they'll rely on people to tell them the narrative. If you always rely on somebody to tell you a narrative, then you're always going to be late. What you want to do is preemptively judge the narrative based on applying logic and actually thinking, okay, how do meme coins work? Well, you can say, oh, Tyrell says meme coins work on narratives. Okay, great. Does this fit as an automated agent? Something that can grow automatically, automatic marketing? Is it a social trend? Well, is it viral news? Viral news is a big thing. Now, we spoke about viral news with Starbase, and Starbase went absolutely crazy, right? This was because of Elon Musk's Starbase and Starbase becoming an actual country. Now, remember, people will speculate on this token based on Elon Musk potentially reacting on this token, based on people speaking about it. And as soon as they mention it, the price will just go, it will just catapult because you have your narrative traders buying in, you'll have your scalpers buying in as well. You have pretty much everybody buying into these tokens, and that's what really will drive the demand for a short-term period based on these tokens. So again, your viral news is based on anything. It could be some type of current news which is happening right now, or some potential current news which can happen in the future, right? Next, we have our movements. Now, movements have kind of died off. These were a big thing in the Marad saga. You could say a movement could be a house coin. Now, your house coin, people are saying that instead of buying a house, you can just buy the house coin. It outperforms the housing market. The housing market is collapsing. People are also saying that, in big news, people can't afford houses. Okay, and you can see it here. If you say can't afford houses, you see it's a big trend right now in the news. And you can say, housing costs millions, government can't fix it, I can't afford to buy a house, so I bought one in Japan. But people are just, it's just viral. People really are struggling right now. So it's a movement-based thing. Another one was SPX 6900. Another one which people didn't really understand, but you can see it performed amazing compared to the overall market from when it started off, and it ran to hundreds of millions. In fact, I think it even ran to 1 billion at all-time high. You can see 1.4 billion at all-time high from about 24 million. And the reason for this again is because it's movement based. So you have your cult, which is the leader of culture, being Marad, the cult leader, okay? And then he says that, right, these are the terms of the things that we agree on. And this is a movement. And then if loads of other people agree on those terms and they want to speculate on that movement, it can actually be monetized. Okay, so people have monetized religions, people have monetized movements, people have monetized different types of cultures as well. People even monetize really racist things, and they go absolutely ballistic when it comes to memes, because remember, memes are driven by speculation, right, of how big it can go. And a lot of times people look and they say, well, how much is this potential narrative worth? Another thing being fart coin. Fart coin, what's the narrative? Hot air rises, and it's just so, what people say, stupid, that it tends to perform extremely well compared to any other coin. You have Bitcoin, and then you've got Fartcoin. A lot of people just full port Fartcoin, and it tends to outperform the whole entire market. Okay, simply because of the culture side of things, where people look at it and they say, well, you know, it makes sense. Everybody farts. How many people fart? How much would you value it? And then it just goes crazy. And then people say, oh, it's so stupid, it can run. That's just how meme coins work. Remember, out of all the coins that launched on Pump Fund, this being a Pump Fund coin, which is crazy, most of them failed. 99.99999% of them failed. But it doesn't matter, because if you owned literally one Solana of Pump Fund a few months ago, you would be a multi-millionaire. So if you literally just sat on Pump Fund and just bought everything that fit this criteria, and you actually follow the strategy, remember, out of all the coins that launch on Pump Fund, not all of them are going to be automated agents, social trends, viral news, movements, or Elon tweets. So if you can just narrow down through a funnel all the coins that launch through this criteria, that's how you follow a basic strategy. Remember, if you look at poker strategy, which is one of the greatest things I like to mention, what they have done is they've narrowed down all the potential poker hands that you have and narrowed it down to a fixed scale in red. So imagine all the coins that launch. Instead of you buying every coin that launches, you only buy a fixed ones that meet your criteria. That's what's going to give you an advantage over the long run. Okay, so that should explain to you about narratives. You have automated trends, social trends, viral news, movements, and Elon tweets. And it should break down to you a simple framework that you can follow when you enter the trenches. If you write this down on a piece of paper when you look at coins, it's going to help you buy coins and hold them for the long run. Now, making all of this meme coin money is great, but when do you actually take profits? You might understand the narratives. You might make hundreds of thousands of dollars using this information to make profits in crypto. You might already have money right now. But I can promise you, if you don't understand this, you're not going to make it. You're going to round trip all your money. You're going to lose it all. And believe me, I have done this already in the past. You see, when I started off early in the cycle, I felt like I was a genius. I came into the crypto market in this area right here, rode this up twice, and made a bunch of money. But what happened is I ended up losing 90% of it because I rode all of my altcoin bags to absolute zero, because I was listening to people on YouTube who said that, guys, we're going to $100,000 and we're going to be rich. And what happened is we didn't get nowhere near that. We went to about $60,000 and went down to about $14,000 for over a year. It was a very, very tough year in the markets for a lot of people who experienced it. But if I knew this one thing, which I'm about to teach you, I would not have lost it. You can use TradingView, and you can also use this Bitcoin chart website as well, which I like to use, called Chart Bibo. Like most big traders on YouTube, they use the charts from this website and they use it to trade. So for example, Chris Crypto, a very, very profitable trader, he used this chart to long Bitcoin from the lows down here and to make a huge amount of money. I think he made over $100 million simply longing Bitcoin from the retest of here and making money. And a lot of people say, TA and charts, and everybody has their opinions, but who gives a fuck? If you're making money, you buy it. That's the way I see it. Everybody has their opinions on social media, on Twitter. They don't even have profile pictures, and people are taking that into consideration with their investments. If the man is not paying your bills, don't take their opinions into consideration when you're making your investments, because there are a lot of traders who have a lot of Bitcoin who trade with these theories. Now, they don't use this as the be all and end all. They use it as one potential indicator when making a trade. The same way that we have a due diligence checklist when looking for meme coins, you want to have a checklist when making a decision to make a trade with maybe your entire portfolio, or maybe with a Bitcoin trade. One of the key indicators that I like to use is, number one, the 200 moving average. You can see over here, the 200-day moving average. Now, the 200-day moving average is going to show you the average price. If I simply deleted the chart over here, if I just deleted this chart and I said, right, okay, now there's no more chart. you will see that this line will represent the average price of Bitcoin. Now, this is also a key support area for the price of Bitcoin. Now, when we are below the 200-day, it's quite often that we will return above it. Very simple. When we're below it, we're going to return above it. And it becomes a sort of support or resistance for Bitcoin. Now, when we had this huge dip over here, a lot of people were calling that Bitcoin was going to zero for their portfolio. They didn't buy meme coins and they just quit. Now, what happened is straight above. And then we're going to probably continue to go past and put in new highs. Very simple. The same thing which happened over here and the same thing which happened over here. It's a fairly simple process. If we reject the 200-day and we show it as resistance, we're in a bear market, right? You can see what happened right here. You can see that over here, we didn't reject it. We showed it as support. We bounced above it. The moment that we rejected it, we are confirmed in a bear market. Very simple indicator for you to use. You just keep this chart open. If you start buying dips and you make a lot of money, let's say you bought into Ghibli, you bought into Routine, you start blowing up in the meme coin space on this little bounce over here. If you've seen that we rejected this 200-day, my friend, get out, secure the bag, keep it moving. Number two, the Pi cycle top indicator. I use this Pi cycle top indicator religiously for my portfolio. The reason is because I got this from somebody called DD Tahui. Now, this person over here is somebody who has been in the Bitcoin space for a long time. I respect him a lot. He is one of the few people which has maintained high conviction this entire cycle. He hasn't changed his strategy and he's just been right. Not only did he sell his entire house and everything and go all in Bitcoin during this, but he has managed to sell the top, accumulate the lows, and sell the highs every single stage of the cycle. So I'm not an expert in Bitcoin, but I consider him to be an expert in Bitcoin. And this is one of his leading indicators. This shows you multiple moving averages, similar to how we had the 200-day before. But it will also show you that when this, to put it simply, red line gets close to the green line, it's a signal to start being scared of when Bitcoin is going to reverse. And it's been right every single cycle. You see, even in the early stages, when you get this red line, get close to the green line, get out, right? Because once we go below, you're going to be in the bear market. Now, as we can see over here, there was no sign of a Pi cycle top. There was no sign of red line close to green line. Yet again, people were calling for the bear market. That's not the time to be scared. It was the time to accumulate. And as you've seen, it paid off. Paid off with things like Fartcoin, paid off with things like Popcat. It's even paying off with things like Whiff. What else have we got? Boom, Pepe. I think even Frog is starting to turn up a little bit as well, right? Multiple coins. Obviously, Solana, ALK. You can see here the Bonk chart also started to turn up. So at the stage when people were quitting crypto, it was actually the time to bid. And you can judge that based off the Bitcoin chart. So you don't have to judge it of anything other than the BTC chart itself. We have this Pi cycle top indicator, and it shows us the overview of Bitcoin. And we know that when this Pi cycle top indicator starts to get close and it starts to print the top, that it's the time to get out. It's not only the time to get out in terms of your longer stage portfolio, but it's also your stage to get out of meme coins in general, because it's the time when volume will actually dry up. At this stage, volume didn't dry up. It was still okay to trench every single day. But at this stage, when Bitcoin starts to get down here, you won't see meme coins performing. Meme coins stayed performing here. Meme coins stayed performing here. But there was not many meme coins that stayed performing here. So this whole section here, probably to continue, will be the stage of the bull market. Many people were saying, here, I'm still waiting for a bull market. They said, here, when's the bull market? Waiting for the retail to get in. They said, here, when's retail getting? Some say there were people still waiting for retail. I can assure you, retail have been in this market this entire way up. You just haven't been focused enough on the right things. You want to wait until BTC starts to approach these levels over here. Okay, whether that is here, wherever it is, as long as the red line gets close to the green line, that's your stage to start stable coining your main portfolio. And also a good sign to start looking to stablecoin your portfolio is when we start breaking key support levels as well. So when you see Bitcoin start to get extremely volatile over here and break key support levels like this here, right? The support level was never 100K. There was a lot of people when I trade on live streams and stuff like this that were always panicking when BTC was breaking 100K. But there wasn't really a support level of 100K. 100K was not really a major key support level for Bitcoin. It had some support, but it was never really a key support. Your key support level was around about this 95K level where you could see major support around these levels. You could have lowered it to be about here on the wicks. Maybe even you could have even said 92. When we break these areas and you start to see BTC get sour, you will see that the Solana price also takes a massive impact. So if we put the day over here and we say the key day of this thing going south was about February 24th. If you look at the Solana price on February the 24th, we go February 24th, this was when we seen that Solana took a huge dip and we broke this 140 level. Now, a lot of people went long during this stage. There was a lot of people who lost a lot of money when Solana took a dip from 140 and it dipped below $100. Now, this was a stage where you shouldn't have been longing. You should have been looking to maintain your portfolio. You should have been in stable coins. As soon as you start to see Solana also break key levels, which you clearly see the key level for Solana was about your $180 level. You break that level over here. This was your signal to get out. Okay, along with all types of stuff like Trump meme coins and stuff like that. It was just a sign to secure your profit. And a lot of people didn't. There will be a second chance, okay? If we do rise up and we go on a run and you start to see the Pi cycle top indicator for Bitcoin specifically print, and you see Solana up at all-time highs and peak euphoria in the market, it will be another signal for you to again have a second chance at securing those profits. So I've explained to you about market cycles. I've explained to you about when to take profit. I can promise you this will be your most important section of this video. There's a lot more depth to go into this. BTC halvings, explaining to you guys about macroeconomic cycles, explaining to you guys about so many more things. So subscribe to this channel because I'll release like full videos and courses on those specific topics. But throughout this, I have taught you a lot of stuff. So please make sure to rewind it, take your time and take notes. And I have a few more things to break down with you now. Now, as you can see, this path works. Your dream of becoming a profitable trader, of making money trading meme coins, is possible. It's very, very, very possible. People do it. You can do it too. But it requires discipline. It requires effort, and you have to learn. If you do not learn, right, if you just simply do the same thing over and over again, it's not going to work. If you don't put no effort into it, it's not going to work. If you're not disciplined to be consistent and do it all over again and over and over and over again, right, sit down every single day, it's not going to work. So this is not a get rich. Meme coins is not a get rich quick scheme. If you've been in meme coins before, or maybe you joined to buy some meme and some other guy made money, and you get in and you lose all your money, you realize it's not as easy as it sounds. But it's definitely possible. Now you have two choices, right? You can go about this solo. You can simply take the information I've given you about narratives, cycles, doing due diligence, how to find meme coins that are going to make money. You could just hop straight into Bullex right now and you can just give it a go. Or you can join the trenches. You can join a group of like-minded people who all have the same vision, who are playing different roles that you can learn from, educate yourself with, and you can start making money today as a community. You keep trying to figure out alone, or you can shortcut your way to success with a community that's already winning. We have a full-time team of researchers, Twitter trackers, people checking the narratives, and trenchers. So every single role and archetype that you have seen, I've taken the liberty of bringing them on full time. So I've brought on some of the best scalpers that I have seen inside the trenches. You guys might have seen that I did a 30-day live stream. And many of you guys thought this was for entertainment. It was actually so I could recruit some of the best traders during this process. I was screening the people who were coming inside of the VC and who were given their ideas of thought process. You guys might have seen that we called TST at a 200 to 700K market cap, and it went to over 100 million. I brought that trader on full time and gave him a percentage of the business. Why? Because he made consistent calls that were the best calls that we have ever seen live on this channel, and it actually allowed people to completely change their life. Wasn't that 2 M's? Sure. Yo, Boars is gonna be so lit. GG's for Boars though. Bro, Boars had Boars might have like 70 grand. I've had messages from people who made hundreds of thousands of dollars from nothing, literally barely anything, simply from these calls and holding them. I had to bring these guys on board. I also brought on some of the best leverage traders that I've found who are making over 80% consistently success rates on calls. They don't make calls every day, but when they do, they win big. And I've also brought on board some of the best community managers who can answer your questions, help you pick your best archetype, help you pick your best role based on your specific stage. Whether you're somebody who's just starting out, maybe you have a 9 to 5, you've got a full-time job, whether you're somebody who has a business and you're just looking to diversify, or if you're somebody who is just completely locked in, you don't want to work, you want to trade meme coins forever, we have a position for you inside the trenches, and we can help you and guide you as a community on how to become successful. Now, unfortunately, this isn't for everybody. You see, most of the times when you go through these types of videos, you hear the guy at the end and he goes, oh, well, you can join and anybody can join. I don't really think that's fair. I don't think that meme coins are for everybody. Like I said already, I don't really think this is some get rich quick scheme. You see, this is only for a specific amount of people, and you will have to apply to join the trenches. Now, this is simply because those people are not the right fit. Those people are here for quick gains. They're here to get rich quick. And do you know what they do? They join for 3 days and then they quit. They go, oh, we haven't had a call. Well, I can't turn my $5 into 5 million. I say, bro, this isn't for you. Because this community is specifically for the people who want to have success long term, the people who want to find a strategy that works for them. And you know what happens in these types of communities? They go crazy because they have a specific finite of people who are solely focused on getting better, and they grow. Not like other communities which you join and they're toxic and they don't answer your questions. Everybody says, do your own due diligence. Doesn't make any sense. So if you do want to join the trenches, you'll find a link for that in the description. It's the first link and the only link in this video. In that, there'll be an application process. You can apply to join the waitlist. And if you get accepted, you'll be allowed to join the trenches. In there, you'll see a full Telegram group with different channels to trade meme coins, a 24/7 live VC, where you often see me in there, and also live streaming as well. We also have our own streamers inside of that channel as well, who will live stream scalping, sniping, leverage trading as well. We give you signals based on leverage trades, based on the market. So if you miss your narrative, if you're at work, you can get all of this directed to your phone through notification. We also have regular community calls and community VCs to bring you guys together. And whenever I make a big play, whether it is successful or not, I will always show you my complete thesis and answer all of your questions inside the trenches. So if you do want to join, you can check it out inside the description and you can join today. And if you've enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed this tutorial and exactly how you can become successful trading meme coins, leave a comment below. If you want me to expand on any of these topics, also let me know. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to release courses and tutorials, much more detail on sniping, trading, leverage, you know, meme coins in general. I'm passionate about this subject. I'm passionate about this space, and I really do like where it's going. And I look forward to seeing you as part of the community.